So it's like Monday and it started about book 17 and I'm really excited, but it's like 20 to 12 and I've not really done anything yet, but who cares? It's no fuss, so you know, as long as I get the reading I want done, I'm happy. I haven't even looked online yet really today. I've got my 3 books and I'm going to be starting with this one because it's been the one that has been on my shelf the longest, and I guess it's really time I actually finished this trilogy. I'm not entirely sure why I stopped. I think it's something to do with the fact that every series I was finishing was not living up to my expectations and it kind of made me nervous. Definitely one of my goals to do that. This book, I don't actually have any trouble reading it. I like reading it in a couple of chapter bursts, and I've been thinking that I will use it to break up these 2 books because I've got a lot of thoughts about the fact that I should finish them and I don't really want the pressure, and I'm hoping by having this it'll kind of balance it out. I don't know, we'll see how it goes. This readathon I think will be interesting because I've not really got the energy because of stuff that I will link in the description. But I want to read. I've got reviews I need to write, which I need to do before I start reading really, because I don't like reading too many books and then having to go back and write the reviews because you get stuff muddled up. So yeah, better get started on that. See you in a bit. Hey, it's like now just gone 4 and I haven't actually done any reading yet, but I wanted to talk about today's challenge. Today's challenge for About Books is to name your favourite and least favourite book to film adaptations, and I thought it sounded like a fun thing to do. My book to film adaptation that I'm not a big fan of is probably a little controversial, but I want to say in this instance I'd read all the published books up to the point the first film came out, and I had such a strong picture in my head of what the characters looked like, how they acted and stuff like that, that to be honest, although I did enjoy the film at the time and the subsequent ones after for the most part, they were, to be honest, a little bit of a disappointment. So my least favourite book to film adaptation is the Harry Potter series by J.K. Rowling. I much prefer the books. There's nothing wrong with the films per se, they're just not my headcanon. Sorry about that for everyone that loves them. It's funny really how disparate what you see in your head can be from what other people see, and that really struck me with the Harry Potter films. Not to say I don't think they're worth watching, they totally are. They don't have the magic for me that the books did. Moving on from that, the book to film adaptation that I absolutely adore. I did also read the book before I watched the film, but that was only because I promised my dad I would, that I wouldn't actually go and watch the first part before I read the books, because the books are something he really enjoys. So it's Lord of the Rings series by J.R.R. Tolkien. I can't actually easily find my copy of the actual book on my shelf, which is where I've got the DVD. Peter Jackson's interpretation of the book is a great adaptation. I don't think it's perfect by any means. There are scenes that I miss from the books that aren't in the film at all. What actually is there, I think, tells a really cohesive, interesting story, and it's really quite enjoyable. So yeah, that's my answer for today's challenge, and I guess now it's time to go and do a bit of reading. See you in a bit. Hey, welcome to Tuesday. the second day about a book. I know I didn't update you last night. I managed to finish 110 pages of Unmade and I'm super happy with that. And actually it was surprisingly easy to get back into, which I'm really happy about. It kind of surprised me, you know, and I think my thoughts that the fact that I was having a lot of really bad last books was what my problem was. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting back into it later on. It's almost lunchtime. Well, it's 12:10 at the moment, so it is lunch. I'm not sure how many updates I'm going to do today because I've got a delivery scheduled sometime after 2 today, so this might be it for me. I hope you're having a good second day about books and I'll see you whenever. Hi, it's day 4 about books and it's about 20 to 11 and you're probably wondering what happened yesterday. Yesterday was not a good day and I think I owe you an update for Tuesday as well. So Tuesday I had a really fantastic reading day and I managed to read 271 pages, so that meant I finished Unmade, which I am super pleased with. I totally recommend it and this series. I think it's a good ending. I think my problem with it before was that I just kept hitting bad last books and it kind of made me nervous, but it shouldn't have, because this is a good solid ending to the trilogy. It did pretty much exactly what I wanted from it in terms of the story, in terms of what happened to the characters. If you're looking for a bit of a gothic style mystery, then I totally recommend The Limburn Legacy by Sarah Rees Brennan. Now on to yesterday, Wednesday, which was a complete disaster in a lot of ways, but also not, because hey, you're supposed to flail, not fail about books. So I can't really look at it as a negative experience, apart from the fact that the bee got in the house and it traumatised me. I was literally shaking it, which you'd know if you followed me on Twitter or Instagram. Didn't get any reading done, didn't do the shelfie challenge, but hey, not much of a disaster really. Today I hope to get quite a bit of reading done. I've not done any yet, but that's because I've been doing stuff. I have added a new book to my TBR and it's called A Boy Made of Blocks, and it's actually what I'm going to be reading next instead of the book I planned to. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to actually starting that, and hopefully today will be a better day than yesterday. I hope you've had a good bout of books so far and I will see you later. Bye. Hi, it's Sunday, it's about 11 and it's the final day of bout of books, and that is, I think it's a relief because I've had a fantastic time so far. I've not maybe done as much as I wanted to in terms of actually interacting with other participants about books, but I have done really well as far as the actual reading goes, which is good. It is a glorious sunny day outside. I can't believe that Bout Book 17 is almost over. And I actually guess I owe you guys some updates. I think the last vlog I did was for Thursday, so you won't have had any reading updates since Thursday. I guess I better dive straight in and catch you up. On Thursday I read 236 pages and that was 144 from A Boy Made of Books and 92 from When We Collide, and I think that was a pretty good reading day, to be honest. Over 200 pages is brilliant. I mean, if you think about it, that's probably more than halfway on an average book. I also took part in today's challenge, which was to create a headline in a tabloidy style for one of the books you are either reading or have read for this bout of books, and my one is a bit spoilery and it's Limbo and Legacy based, and if you would like to have a peek at what it is, I will leave a link to it in the description box below. It's on my Instagram account. Yeah, I don't really want to spoil anyone. My Friday was kind of like my Tuesday. Didn't go as planned, but it wasn't actually an absolute disaster. I was supposed to meet my mum, but that didn't happen, and everything kind of went to pot, and I think I ended up reading 81 pages in the end, but I did finish When We Collided. I really actually quite enjoyed the book. I don't want to say too much because I'm going to have a review going up sometime in the future, but would recommend. Yesterday, Saturday, I had a fantastic day reading wise, even if I did miss the Twitter chat that I desperately wanted to take part in. At reading wise, I did brilliantly as far as I'm concerned. I read 262 pages and finished A Boy Made of Blocks, which I think is due out in the UK on September 1st. And it's definitely worth having a check out of that book. I'm hoping to have a review for it go up on the 1st. Fingers crossed. And I guess that just brings us to today. I finally get to start Stolen. Well, not start, seeing as I'm 47 pages in, but I finally get to continue. There are no challenges today. It's just a case of read what you feel like. I'm hoping I can read a good chunk of this today and hopefully finish it tomorrow because it's a bank holiday in the UK. I will have an extra day to read stuff. I don't think I will actually finish this for about a book. I have finished 3 books and my goal was to read 3 books for this bout of books. Might not be all the books I intended to read, but I'm still super proud. And I guess that's it from me until my final update tomorrow. Bye. It's Monday. Bout of Book 17's over. Wow. I can't believe Bout of Book 17 is actually over and that I did what I set out to do, kind of. So my original thing was to read these 3 books. I have managed to complete both of these 2, and yesterday I managed to read 58 pages of this, and it actually helped cement my decision not to continue the book and not to continue the series. I really loved the first book, but for me this second book just doesn't work, unfortunately. But it was nice to know that and to have it confirmed. I'm really happy how this bout of books went. I've read over 1,000 pages in a week. I think 1,008 total, but to be sure I will leave a link down to my progress so you can actually check if you want. I did take part in a couple of challenges which were fun. I missed both Twitter chats unfortunately, but such is life. I'm really pleased how Bout of Book 17 went, and I'm looking forward to participating in the next one if I can. Thank you so much for watching this video all the way to the end. If you liked it, please consider giving the video a thumbs up. If you took part in Bout of Books, then I hope you had as much fun as I did. I guess that's it from me. So I will see you next time. Bye.